So, today we're going to talk about a story that's pretty incredible. It's about how one massive trade deal didn't just shake up a company's finances, it completely transformed a single person's career, taking her from someone who was totally overlooked to someone who was absolutely essential. Let's get into it. At its heart, this whole thing really boils down to three key parts. You've got this historic deal between India and the European Union. You have a treasurer, Riya Sharma, who was just trying to keep her head above water. And then you have the massive, game-changing transformation that followed. And to really understand just how big of a change this was, we have to start right here with this quote. This was Ria's reality. She was seen as a clerk, someone who just processes transactions, pushes buttons, moves money around, not someone who could actually shape the company's future. The stakes for her, personally and professionally, were just incredibly high. Okay, so let's set the scene. Before this big trade deal ever happened, Ria's day-to-day was, well, a nightmare. It was a constant uphill battle against broken, inefficient systems. Just look at what she was dealing with. Think about this. More than half, 55% of the company's available cash was just stuck, tied up in customs duties. Every single time she had to send money to headquarters in Germany, it took 3 full days, and each time it cost a fortune in SWIFT transfer fees. And all the while, her boss, Klaus, is breathing down her neck, demanding to know why things are so slow. She was completely trapped in this world of manual data entry and clunky spreadsheets. And then it happened. On January 27th, 2026, the world basically shifted on its axis for Riya. The India-EU Free Trade Agreement was announced, and this was the spark that was about to light the fire. Riya, of course, ran the numbers almost immediately, and what she found was just staggering. Because of lower import duties on steel from Germany, her company would save 7 million euros a year. That's 63 crore rupees. Now, to put that into perspective, this wasn't just a nice little cost saving. This was more than their entire annual profit. Wild. But the deal was about so much more than just cutting tariffs. The part that was truly revolutionary was this: integrating India's UPI payment system with Europe's instant payment system, TIPS. This meant payments that used to take days would now happen in seconds. The fundamental speed of money had changed forever. And you can just imagine the whiplash she must have felt. On one side, you've got pure, unfiltered excitement. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. On the other side, absolute terror. She knew deep down that her slow, manual, Excel-based world was about to become a fossil overnight. So what'd she do? Did she panic? Nope. She got smart. She got proactive. Riya signed up for the IO4X Academy to learn a completely new way to think about her job, a new framework for this high-speed era of finance. Now, this is so interesting. The very first thing she learned wasn't a formula or a new piece of software. It was about language. She stopped saying things like, cash is stuck. Instead, she started talking about unlocking working capital velocity. It wasn't I sent a payment, it was I executed an instant settlement. And here's the key. When you change your language, you change how people see you. She started sounding less like a clerk and more like a strategist. Okay, so let's move on to the next layer of her transformation. Once she had the language down, she learned to stop looking at her work as a list of separate tasks. She started seeing the whole financial system as one big, interconnected chain of dominoes. And you can see that chain reaction right here. A cut in tariffs? Okay, that means you have more cash. But more cash creates a new problem. You need a strategy to invest it. Faster payments? Great. But that means your exposure to currency risk happens in real time, which means you need automated hedging to protect the company. See, every change created a cascade of new challenges and opportunities, and Riya was the first one to see the whole picture. And this quote? This was her light bulb moment, the big insight that changed everything. She realized the trade deal wasn't just a discount coupon. It was like strapping a rocket booster to the company's financial engine. And she knew that if you hit the accelerator that hard without upgrading the car first, the whole thing just breaks apart. This realization was the turning point. Armed with this new language and this new way of seeing the world, Riya was ready to make her move, to stop being seen as a clerk and start acting like a leader. So she gets on a call with Klaus, her CFO. But instead of just saying, hey, good news, we're saving some money, she presented a full-blown strategic plan. She talked about unlocking working capital, deploying idle cash to earn more money, and she even made the business case for a much-needed system upgrade by showing exactly what the return on investment would be. She wasn't just reporting news, she was proposing a vision. And to back it all up, she created this, a simple, powerful one-page model. This is the kind of thing that gets a CFO's attention. She translated a huge, complex policy change into the language of the C-suite, profit and loss. And the final number was just impossible to ignore, a total benefit of 68 crore rupees. So what happened? The result was immediate. Klaus didn't just approve her plan. He saw her, really saw her, for the first time. He promoted her to head of Treasury, expanding her role to cover not just India, but the entire Asia-Pacific region. But the story couldn't end there, right? It never does. Just as everything was going right, her new role and her new systems were about to face their first real crisis. A massive 5 crore rupee payment failed. Just stopped. And a critical shipment was now at risk. Now, the old Riya would have been in a complete panic. But the new Riya? She was calm, she was methodical, she had a protocol. First, identify the problem. Is it a cash issue or a tech issue? It was tech. Analyze. Find the specific error code. Execute Plan B. Use the old Swift system as a backup. And then, and this is the most important part, document and fix the root cause so it can never ever happen again. And that was it. That was the ultimate validation. It's one thing to have a plan, but it's another to execute it perfectly under pressure. When the boss, who used to see you as a clerk, tells you that you handled a crisis like a pro, well, you know you've finally made it. So this all brings us to the big finale. Riya, standing in front of the company's board of directors, presenting the results of her incredible work. And this is just masterful communication. She didn't bog them down with technical jargon. She told them a story. She used the simple, brilliant analogy. The trade deal made the car lighter, the new payment systems made it faster, and all her strategic upgrades. Well, that was the new engine and better brakes she installed to handle all that new speed safely. And the final result, the number that says it all, is this one. 23%. Thanks to her efforts, the company was projected to grow its revenue by 23%, not by selling more stuff, but from financial efficiency alone. She literally turned her department from a cost center into a profit engine. Riya's story just proves that any huge disruptive change is also a massive opportunity. So the final question I want to leave you with is this. What's the free trade agreement on the horizon in your industry? What's that big shift that's coming? And more importantly, are you getting ready now to be the Riya in that story? The one who connects the dots and explains to everyone what it all really means?